Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Alhamdulillah, we meet again tonight on Friday night, on the blessed night inshallah, where we're gonna learn to continue with our series with the great woman of Jannah, Aisha Bint Abu Bakr radiyallahu anha. And we also ask Allah to send salam and salawat to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his family and all his companions and all his followers until the end of time. This is the lady number, you remember, brother? Lady number 4.
4.
Is that number 4? Yeah. We started with who we started with? We started with Khadijah, right? Radiyallahu anha, and then Maryam, and then Fatima. Now today is number 4, Aisha bint Abu Bakr. Alhamdulillah. So without further ado, hopefully I don't know whether hopefully we can finish on time this time around. So this is one of the things that we find it very, very difficult to pick and choose which one of the life events that we're going to share with you, especially she's very close to our Prophet Muhammad SAW, and she's one of the hadith narrator. I think it's one of the top 7, and there's a lot of stories about her, a lot of it actually that we can extract the benefit and we learn from this Mu'minun, the mother of the believers, that we probably can benefit in our life, inshallah. So let's start. All right, so what we're going to talk today. Tonight we're gonna cover 3 things. Normally I have 4. Today I just put it 3 because there's so many things. I find it very difficult to pick and choose which one I want to pick up as a story and then what we learn from. So inshallah, there's first of all we start knowing her radiyallahu anha and her family and so on. And after that we pick up some of the events of the stories of the lifetime of Aisha bint Abu Bakr radiyallahu anha, and then it is actually coming from her mouth herself that I have been blessed by Allah by 10 things, and then her students narrated that, and I'll capture that some of the blessings of Aisha radiyallahu anha. Let's start with herself, the lineage and the family. But before we start, let's hear the hadith from Rasulullah SAW, in the hadith where Fa'lu asiyata ala nisa, and the superiority of Isa to other ladies, which is the superiority of the tarid and other kinds of food. So Rasulullah mentioned, this is right, one of the other narrations of hadith, he actually mentioned right after mentioning Asiya, the wife of Pharaoh, and Maryam, which is the mother of Jesus, peace be upon all of them. And then tarid is a special food, which is probably like a nice food during that culture. So comparative, our Prophet compare her like she's one of the best, and I compared it with the food because at the time it was probably during the time. I just look at, I think there's a tarid. I don't know whether you have that in your culture. There's like I tried to Google it and I found some narrations about what it's actually like a food with a lot of condiments and probably meat in there, I don't know, different meats, different bread and stuff like that into one dish. So that's why there's so many things that it is probably in our traditions and Indonesian tradition. When we have a celebration, we have what we call as a yellow rice, and then in there we have the rice itself, and you have to have a special way of prepare the rice, and then you have chicken, you have meat, you have all varieties of vegetable and everything, and then people make that for special event. I think probably something like that. So it is during that tradition. And then there's another hadith from Jami' Tirmidhi where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where is reported by Aisha radiyallahu anha, when Rasulullah had a dream of seeing Jibril, and Jibril came to our Prophet and said, "Ini hadhihi zawjatuka fid dunya wal akhirah." This is your wife in this world and the hereafter. So that means marrying Aisha radiyallahu anha is a command from Allah, coming from the 7th heaven and directly through the mouth of Jibril alayhi salam. And not only that, you can actually derive because Jibril said, this is your wife in hereafter and in Jannah. What it means is Aisha radiallahu anha will be in Jannah. Okay? So this is that's why we talk about the celebrity, the celebrity of Jannah, right? So we have so many celebrities, or celebrities of industries, movies, sports, whatever. This is the celebrity that you should learn. There's a lot of things that we can benefit from her. All right, let's go straight to her family lineage. She is from, of course, everyone knows she's the daughter of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, and then they're coming from a smaller tribe. It's not a big tribe as a Bani Hashim. The tribe is called Bani Taim, and met Rasulullah SAW in the 6th to 7th generation. So it's coming from about 6 or 7 generations, coming from the same sort of great grandfather. Right? Abdullah, the name of Abu Bakr was originally Abdul Kaaba, and then Rasulullah changed it to Abdullah. And then everyone knows he was nicknamed Abu Bakr. It is a laqab. This is his a nickname. Abu Bakr, someone who like energetic as a camel, right? So Aisha, and this is from Abdullah has multiple wives, and one of them is Ruman, and this is where Aisha was born into the lady Ruman, right? And then when she was young, Aisha radiallahu anha reported many times that I used to see Rasulullah when probably she was still 5, 6, 7 years old. Rasulullah always came to her house and met with Abu Bakr and so on. So this is again, Rasulullah SAW was very, very close with Abu Bakr. They see them almost every day, especially during the early stage of da'wah. The next page is about because Aisha radiallahu anha did not have any children from our Prophet. Right, so she was widowed after that, and then she didn't have any children from our Prophet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But she has a sister by the name of Asma from a different mother, and Asma has two sons, at least two sons. One of them is Abdullah bin Zubair, and this is very interesting. By the name of Abdullah bin Zubair, his father is Zubair bin Awam, and Zubair bin Awam is the son of Safiya binti Abdul Muttalib. So Zubair is actually the cousin of Rasulullah SAW. See, because of the tribal, so the intermarriage between one family and so on. So Abdullah bin Zubair, one of the biggest Sahaba as well. He lived quite long until the time of Muawiyah. After the Muawiyah, he was still there. One of the few Sahaba, Abdullah bin Zubair, was still there, and he was still young when during the time. And then there was a narration where Aisha was asking, I need to have a like a nickname, and then Rasulullah asked, give her as a Abdullah. Abdullah is the mother of Abdullah, even though she was not direct. And you see, the mother is like Khala is like the mother, the auntie is like the mother. And then another famous companion, which is the son of Asma, is Urwah bin Zubair. And then Urwah bin Zubair has a son by the Hisam bin Urwah. Then Hisam bin Urwah is actually the teacher of Imam Malik bin Anas. So this is one story. There's a golden change of hadith where Imam Malik heard it from Hisam heard it from Urwah, and because Urwah, actually the cousin of Aisha radiallahu anha, he didn't have to get permissions to go to the room of Aisha, because Aisha didn't have to put hijab. So he's free to come and learn directly from his aunt. So this is one of the blessings of being the mahram of Aisha radiallahu anha. And Aisha radiallahu anha is one of our sheikha. She narrated a lot of hadith. Another brother, another sibling of Aisha radiallahu anha is Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman is also quite a famous companion as well. Abdurrahman is one of the great stories I can think of from Abdurrahman radiallahu anhu. He was having this miswak or siwak, during the time of Rasulullah SAW, a few days before Rasulullah passed away, and he was wearing miswak, and miswak is actually being used to brush Rasulullah SAW. So there is this is a family. So Aisha didn't have any children, and then the mother's Roman. So I think that is probably some of the family lineage between Aisha radiallahu anha. Okay, mentions about Zubair and Awam, and yes. All right, so that is the family story. Let's go to some of the life events, the events of the life of Aisha radiallahu anha. All right, let me just probably start it when she was still very young, and there was a stories about, I don't know. Can you look at the, see, you can read it, right? This is at the time of Rasulullah SAW was in the house, and then he found there's a small, like a stuffed animal, and then Rasulullah SAW was asking, what is it? It's a horse, and horse with two wings. And I saw that and then reminded horse with two wings, and sorry, yes, and then I saw that reminded him that Ima sami'ta inalil Sulaiman. Don't you hear that Sulaiman also have horses with wings? And then, and of course, Rasulullah knew, because the story is actually coming from Rasulullah SAW, right? So she refuted Rasulullah SAW. Of course, there's a horse with wings, and then just from here, you can tell how she was very intelligent, quick-witted, and also knowledgeable about the stories of Islam. And again, she will be one of our Sheikhat, one of the greatest hadith narrators, and you can see that she was prepared for that. I'm just going to pick up some of the top 7 of hadith narrator. All right. Okay, I pick up 7. These numbers 5, 3, 7, 4, and 2 is the number of hadith, the distinct hadith that narrated. Of course, everyone knows number one. Number one is, yes, it is Abu Hurairah. His actual name is actually Abu Rahman bin Sakir al-Dawsi, is from the tribe of Ad-Daws. That is the Abdurrahman. Of course, he is by far about 5,000 plus of number of hadith that he narrated. And then came second is the son of Umar bin Khattab, Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhuma. He narrated about 2,630, and came third, which is Anas bin Malik. Everyone knew Anas bin Malik. Anas bin Malik was the servant of Rasulullah SAW when he stayed with Rasulullah about 10 years. He was probably around 10 years. And one of the famous story about Anas bin Malik, when he mentions about, I was serving the house of Rasulullah SAW for 10 years. Never, ever Rasulullah reprimanded me. Right, so never say Rasulullah raised the voice. It's always full of love and everything, right? And then you probably remember the stories where Rasulullah asked him to do some errand, and then after a few hours, and he didn't come back, and Rasulullah went out to look for him, and he was actually playing around, and Rasulullah didn't go upstairs. Didn't I tell you to do now? He was just okay, and then was just smiling there, and it's a beautiful akhlaq of Rasulullah. So that's why all the children around Rasulullah became big lions of this ummah. Ali bin Abi Talib is one of them, and Anas bin Malik is one of them, and Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu is also one of them. So this is amazing stories. All the children around Rasulullah SAW turn out to be like a big lion for this ummah. All right, we're gonna stay. Excuse me. All right, and then came number 4 is Aisha radiallahu anha, narrated about 2,200 hadith. So she's one of the top 4, and then came Abdullah bin Abbas, which is the cousin of Rasulullah SAW, and he was also one, as just mentioned, he was one when Rasulullah was in Medina, and Abdullah bin Abbas was still a young kid, right? So I don't know whether I share the stories about Abdullah bin Abbas. It was the time of Umar bin Khattab, when he was the caliph. He had with him Abdullah everywhere he went, and all the senior Sahaba, right? All the senior Sahaba. That's why have this small kid and around with us, right? And then Umar bin Khattab quiz everyone, but إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح, this surah, right? Everyone provide their own tafsir, the tafsir, and then after that, Umar bin Khattab asked Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhuma, what do you think about this surah? And he had a different interpretation. He said, this surah is like the death certificate of Rasulullah SAW, and everyone was just amazed. This is because the dua of Rasulullah SAW, he is in the service of Rasulullah SAW, and Rasulullah made dua for him, to give him a good understanding of Islam. So this is Abdullah bin Abbas, is one of the Shaykh of this ummah. And then Jabir bin Abdullah, there's another hadith narrator, Jabir bin Abdullah. Probably we don't have time to spend most of these beautiful people. And the last one is Sa'ad bin Malik al-Qudri. All right, so you can see here, this is the quick with the one of the one of the blessings of Aisha radiallahu anha is that she could narrate hadith or things that is very, very intimate in nature, right? For example, how you wash, how you go to bed, and what sort of things that you do. That's only wife can see. This is one of the privilege of Aisha radiallahu anha, and then no one can narrate that hadith except exactly his wife. This is Ummul Mu'minin. She has a special status on that. So this is the privilege of Aisha radiallahu anha. All right. So what are the stories? That was that's after the migration to Medina, and just probably around 1 year or two after there was then the marriage of Rasulullah SAW with Aisha radiallahu anha. And of course Rasulullah had a dream, and Jibril came up, and Jibril said, this is going to be your wife. And just to let you know, Aisha radiallahu anha was when she was prepared for the marriage, she was around 6 or 7 years old, and then the marriage was consummated around when she was around 9 years old. And a lot of, again, this is one of the things that we're not going to cover in detail, some of the refutations of people why marriage. First of all, this is Islam regulated certain things, but also give like a minimum requirement, right? So there is minimum requirement. For example, when you pray, you have to cover the aura. What is the aura for man, for example, is from the navel here to the knee, right? But when you pray, you don't actually only put the cloth on that. But if you're so very poor that you don't have anything, that's probably okay for you. But if you have decent dress and stuff like that, you don't go around and just only wearing the scarf or the thing. So the Islam's rules the minimum requirement. For example, when you married for when a man married a woman, one of the criteria was that first of all the woman has to be baligh, the man is already adult, reach adulthood. There's a minimum, and then secondly, there's no forced marriage. It has to be blessed and also agreed by the bride as well. So this is the main two things, and it depends on the traditions. And some people traditions they get married after 15 or 16. Again, this is the culture and tradition that adopted during the time. Aisha radiallahu anha was actually promised before she was married to Rasulullah SAW. Aisha was actually being promised to marry this one of the chieftain of Makkah by the name of Mutim bin Adi. So probably we're going to have a different story about Mutim bin Adi. Mutim bin Adi, one of those people who did not accept Islam, but he was one of the people that was very sympathetic to Muslims. He was the one who fought the other Quraysh chieftain, Quraysh chiefs, when all the Muslims being embargo and so on. So he was, and the son was Zubair. So Zubair bin Mutim was originally planned to be married to Aisha before the marriage with Rasulullah SAW. And then what happened was, and then after Rasulullah mentioned the intention to marry Aisha, and then they have to go to the family. Apparently the family, when they heard that, you embrace Islam, right? So they were not happy with the family, and because of that they already started to thinking of breaking the marriage as well. So there was before the marriage, right? And just to let you know, this she was the third wife of Rasulullah SAW. The first wife was Khadija. We talked about her and two series ago, where Rasulullah was married to Khadija for so many years, from 25 around 50 something, so about 25 years, alone only with Khadija radiallahu. And then after Khadija passed away, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was at that time was asked, why don't you marry again, remarry? There's two options: either you marry old lady or you marry someone who's still a virgin. And there was the second wife was Sauda binti Zam'a. This is the second. There was an old lady at the time. It was a simple wedding, so simple. Even the gift, the milk that was actually shared during the reception, it was actually gifted by another Sahaba. So they have this milk, and Rasulullah drank it and offered Aisha to drink that as well. It was drink. So there was no camel or no sheep being slaughtered. So it's very simple. Subhanallah, how not only a simple wedding reception compared to the wedding reception that we have for these days. Subhanallah, people spend some ridiculous amount of money. And even though this is a simple life, a simple wedding, but subhanallah, this is one of the happiest family on earth. A simple life, and then yes, I think that is, yeah, even until the passing away of Rasulullah SAW, and just before Rasulullah SAW passed away, and he was asking how much money I have. It was a 7 dinar, and then please spend the 7. So when the time of Rasulullah SAW passed away, there's not even money. So this is how Aisha radhiyallahu anha was actually the life that they went through is just very simple life. They have enough to eat, or they're not suffering, but this is a very simple life, frugal life. All right, one of the biggest story, which is I'm gonna talk about, is, I think this is probably one of the biggest stories, is the slander of Aisha. So the slander of Aisha came just after the Rasulullah SAW. Every time he went up for a battle or went up for a military campaign, he picked one of the wives to join and accompany him. And at this time was, I think it was coming from a battle of Bani Mustalik, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And Aisha radiallahu anha was part of the caravan, or for part of with the army as well. So, and people was just getting ready, and they was taking rest and stuff like that. And this is actually narrated from Aisha radiallahu anha herself, where she had a special sort of camel with special like a small tent, if you will, where she went inside there and then cover everything, so the people who carry that and put a camel, because, and it's actually coming from her own mouth herself. She said at that time probably she was still young and she was still small, so people didn't realize that she was not in the tent, and people just carry and put that into the camel and they move. So what happened was, she actually lost her necklace, right? And she was looking for the necklace, and I think because there was sentimental value for that. It's not like a very expensive necklace, it's a very simple one, but because of the sentimental value, and she was looking for it, and then before she realized, then the army actually already left her behind. And she was so, and again Allah put some sort of comfort in her, in the middle of the desert, like no one around and everything, and she managed to actually fall asleep. And the thing is, when you fall asleep in the event of where you should be worried, it is actually a blessing. If you remember just one night, the night before the battle of the Badr, for example, like all the Sahaba, all the companions, they just went to sleep, and a very nice sleep, while the other side, the Quraysh, was very nervous and everything. So again, if you can sleep within at night, it is something that shows that you have that is actually a blessing. So what happened was, she fell asleep, and then when she fell asleep, there was another companion which is being tasked by Rasulullah SAW, that he always walked at the last after all the army left. So he's just making sure that probably if there's something's being left behind, or something just to tidy up, or probably to cover, or just in case there's any another follow-up attack from people, so he would know and he can probably tell people, right? So at that time it was Safwan bin Mu'attal was given a task to do that. And when he was walking, he found, because he met Aisha radhiallahu anha before the verse of hijab, so he sort of recognized that. He was subhanallah, and he was so scared, because this is the mother, right? And again, this is the true believer will think this is the mother. There's so utmost respect this to Aisha radhiallahu anha. And Aisha woke up, and then there was no conversation, there's no anything, and then she climbed up to the camel, and Safwan would just walk the camel, and they didn't have any discussion, they didn't talk, just to show respect, and it was right in the middle of nowhere, so that's why they went up. So what happened was, when they finally reached the troops, the army, and there was this everyone knew, which is the father of the hypocrite of Medina, Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul. When he saw that, and then he took advantage of that, he said, "Oh, I'm gonna destroy the life of our Nabi," right? And he has this strong hatred against Rasulullah SAW. And subhanallah, this, if you just heard the story of Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul, it's just amazing how calamities and problems that he has caused to our prophets and the ummah at the time, just one after another. And at this time is really is so serious, because this is actually involving the family of Rasulullah SAW, and the family, like a family one, right? And this is the dignity, the chastity, the haya, right, of the family. And he was just gossip mongering and spreading the disease, spreading the lie to everyone. Everyone is just all Abdullah bin Ubay and all his gang is actually spreading, except actually three Muslims get involved in this by the name of Hamna bint Jash. She was the sister of Zainab bint Jash, which is sort of a co-wife of Aisha, and probably just this is the stories of wives, and they have probably some arguments and so on. They probably Hamna was just riding into these gossips and involved in spreading gossip as well. There's also another guy by the name, companion by the name of Hassan bin Thabit, and then Misbah bin Thabit. We're not going to talk about detail, but Misbah bin Utata was the cousin of Abu Bakr. So, and it was so tense. Everyone was so talking about it, and even Rasulullah SAW had to consult the companions, right? And he actually talked to Ali bin Abi Talib, and he talked to Osama bin Zaid. Osama, very small, very young at the time, and he went there and consulted, what should I do? Should I marry? Should I continue my marriage with Aisha? Should I divorce and so on? Subhanallah, we're not going to talk detail, because it's going to be long stories about this consultation. But again, it shows us how Rasulullah SAW didn't know what to do, and there was no verse, no wahi coming at the time. So we continue the story. And then the story is so severe, even there was even fight between the companions, right? Especially these companions coming from this tribe, and everyone just they're not happy with this person, and then this person probably the whole tribes like that. So there's even it's like heated discussions among people in Medina as well. This is so serious that affecting not only the family of Rasulullah SAW, but also the people in Medina at the time. Aisha radhiallahu anha actually was not aware of this gossip mongering. She was not aware, but at the time she was not feeling right. She was feeling ill, and then when she found out the rumor, she was shocked. Never something like this was actually she was thinking about it. Just like with the story of Maryam alayhi salam, right? When Jibril came and said, "Oh, you're already pregnant," it was just, how? And then remember the story when he said, "I wish I die," because it's just the burden, the feel that Maryam alayhi salam felt at that time. You can imagine Aisha as well. Like, people talk to me like that. Oh, it's so filthy. It's not even beyond her imagination. And even Rasulullah SAW came, and then she was asked to come to her parents. So she came to Abu Bakr and family, and Rasulullah came to them, and Rasulullah even asked, if you're innocent, why don't you just ask Allah for, if you just admit it? Subhanallah, how Aisha radiallahu was very, very sad. And she was crying until like she was like crying the whole time. And she said, Allah knows I'm innocent, and that time, just few moments after, few days after that, and Allah revealed the surah, the verses of Surah Nisa, I think about 10 ayah, where Allah actually defended her chastity and innocence. Inna lazina ja'u bil ifk, the person, the one that coming with the lie, the slander, the bad, sort of the very nasty and a crazy story, is actually utbatan minkum, right? So it's among you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this ayah, that is all ilk, is all lie, is a concocted lie. And Rasulullah came to Aisha radiallahu anha, mentioned that Allah revealed the Quran, and then you are, and Ruman was asked to tell Aisha that the Quran was revealed, and Ruman asked Aisha, I said thank you to Rasulullah. No, I will not say thank. It was just because of the you can imagine how so devastating the situations, everything. Even I saw like had to, if for some normal people, it was probably the act of not probably a good act, right? But again, certain things that we normally do to Rasulullah SAW, probably act of kufr. But wives, they have sort of different sort of privilege, right? Because they husband and wife, their lives and so on. There's certain things they can joke around, they play around. There's certain things I don't want to do it. They can say no to things like that, right? Things like a husband and wife do in nature. So say thank you to Rasulullah. No, I will not say thanks. So to that level, and it was very, very good story. Is a lot of things that we can derive for that, but probably I promise I'm not going to detail about this, and it is already enough detail. All right, so the next some of the story event. So Rasulullah came with the good news, and at that time the 3 Muslims that were involved in gossip mongering was punished. I think they were punished by 18, flogged by 80 stripes. But Abdullah bin Salul was not punished at all, because he will be punished in the hereafter, later on. Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu actually came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was asking, should I finish him off or something, right? And then so no, don't do that. I don't want people to think that I kill my own companions, right? And what happened was that bin Ubay bin Salul actually, throughout the end of his life, everyone sort of knew his intentions, his ill intentions, and it became public. Everyone knew, and suddenly all the followers of Ubay, they were so fascinated in how Rasulullah handled the situation. And if you probably knew as well, or probably know as well, that Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul has a son by the name of Abdullah bin Abdullah. And when Abdullah bin Ubay actually passed away, Abdullah bin Ubay came to Rasulullah asking for a shroud, and then Rasulullah gave his robe to become the shroud. And because of the way Rasulullah handling this situation, all the followers, which is all the munafiqun at the time, was the followers of bin Ubay. They become seriously embracing Islam. Subhanallah, right? You see the akhlaq of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the way Rasulullah handled this. And if you think about it, because it's maslahah, it's a public interest, right? And why didn't why didn't the Muslims at that time, because of it's already obvious what Abdullah bin Ubay did. Why didn't they just kill him or probably punish him and stuff like that? But because at the time there's no specific revelation from Allah for killing him. And another thing as well, as Rasulullah mentioned, I think is a PR is very important. I don't want people think that I kill my own companion. And again, subhanallah. And after everyone becoming Islams and becoming seriously, wholeheartedly, and Rasulullah came to Umar bin Khattab and said, see, what happened, Ram? Everyone, right now, at that time, if you kill Abdullah bin Ubay, probably everyone must be against you. But now, right now, at this stage, right, if you ask who can kill Ubay, right, everyone probably will just raise their hands. They want to do that. See how things turn up. And Umar bin Khattab said, of course, Rasulullah knows the best, right? All right, so that is the story about that. Yes, this is when he died. Is actually Rasulullah gave actually his clothes to become the kafan, the shroud for Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul, the head of the hypocrite. Another story about the spear shows. This is when a group of some African tribes or delegates came to the Masjid of Nabawi, the Prophet Masjid. And they were demonstrating their skill of fightings and swords and stuff like that, with the spears, with the sword. And Rasulullah SAW asked, "You want to see that?" And then and actually Aisha was behind. Normally, if I have a big class, normally I use my wife to demonstrate it to you as well. So what happened was Rasulullah actually carried Aisha in his back. And everyone can see that Aisha is actually almost cheek to cheek, right, to Rasulullah SAW, and when they're watching all this, the demonstrations, the fighting skills, and so on. And then, are you done? No, not yet. And then after a few while, see, subhanallah, how Rasulullah SAW treat his wife, and with the romance and everything. And if you want to learn romance, don't go to whatever romance that you want to watch, or whatever Romeo Juliet and stuff. This is our own romance. Look at this, how this story is actually quite touching. And after a while, after Rasulullah SAW passed away, Aisha is actually I was not actually really interested to watch. I just want to have my chick next to Rasulullah SAW. Subhanallah. All right, so yeah, this is a story. And another story of losing another necklace. So this is probably a deja vu, right? So this is again one of the campaign where Aisha radiallahu anha was there. There's she lost a necklace, and again this is some sentimental value of this necklace. And then Rasulullah SAW stopped the army, right? And then ordered Sahaba to search, right? So they'll start searching. And because of that, they actually on the way back to Medina, so their provision is not, they're already going thin, very thin, including water as well for them to make wudu. And then at that time, why we have to stop? We just have to go. We don't have enough time. We don't have enough water and so on like that. So people talking behind Rasulullah SAW. This is not good, right? Why are we looking for this necklace? And this is not important, right? Something like that. And everyone was talking, and even Abu Bakr felt really annoyed. Abu Bakr, what happened to your daughter here, right? So Abu Bakr actually came to the tent where Rasulullah SAW actually resting on her lap, and he was going to rebuke his daughter. And then I think if you know the stories of the story of the migrations of Umar bin Khattab, where they when they went to this cave, and then the Quraysh came, and they were just two in the cave, and Rasulullah SAW, Allah is a third, Allah is with us. And at that time, just after that follow-up of that story, Abu Bakr was actually, Rasulullah was sleeping on the lap of Abu Bakr, and there was some spider or snake that bit the toes of Abu Bakr, and Abu Bakr felt that, and he was very tried to reduce the pain by not moving, right? So, and this is almost the same thing. And when Rasulullah came, when Abu Bakr came to the tent, and Rasulullah was actually sleeping on the lap of Aisha, and Abu Bakr went in and he actually pinched Aisha radhiallahu anha. Why you look at this, or something like that. And at this moment, then there was a ayah was revealed, which is the ayah of tayammum, where this is a very long verse actually. I just pick up falam tajidu ma'a fatayammamu sa'idan toyiba, and if you cannot find water, then take use tayammum. The word tayammum means like a making an intention. So in Islam we have pure, and then minor impurity and major impurity. For minor impurity, you have to take wudu to become pure, so that you can do your prayer. And if there's no, is the water is just scarce, then you can use dust or sand just to wipe your. You don't have the whole body, just the face and the hand, right? And from sahu, you remember masih means wipe. From sahu, wipe. Biwujuhikum, your face. In Indonesia we call wajah, which is the same with wujuh, which is the face. Wa aidikum, which is the hand, right? And again, it's a long verse. Basically, when you're ill, when you're suffering from illness, when you travel, or after you relieving yourself from number one or number two, and then if you're in the state of junub, janaba, then if you need to make wudu and then the water is just scarce, then you just can use dust. This is the ayah was revealed, and right after that, where is that? Yeah, right after that, everyone, where is it? Yeah, right after that, then and again. All the companions that were originally was talking behind the back and everything, and they says Allah has blessed and gave the favor through your family. And again, this is the tarbiyah. Remember this is the tarbiyah. This is the Allah actually teaching. When Rasulullah asked them to stop and search for the necklace, right? This is the order of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You have to do it wholeheartedly, even though it doesn't make sense sometimes. Why we need to worry about this necklace, right? We need to worry about our salah, the wudu and everything, right? This is more important, right? Of course, and because it's coming from Rasulullah, there's always blessing to that. And see what's blessing. Allah actually used this event as asbab that Allah reveal the tayammum that we will enjoy, the whole ummah will enjoy, when we have to make wudu and there's no water. Subhanallah. Again, this is the tarbiyah of the Sahaba through this event. All right. The next event was the choice of the. It was probably just 1 year before the passing away of Rasulullah SAW. At that time, the wealth started pouring into Medina. Some of the wives, probably before they got married, they probably coming from a good family. Like for example, our one of the Ummul Mu'minin Juwariyah, for example, she was the daughter of a chieftain, right? A daughter of chieftain of Bani Mustalik, for example, or Safiya. She's also the daughter of the head of the tribe. So probably they have been enjoying some good life, some probably luxury life even. And now people in Medina start enjoying that because the wealth start coming in. The Islam's getting bigger and bigger. People embracing Islam, and because of that, it is so human, all right, for the wife to start. At least we want to have a little bit of not luxury, but at least a little bit of improved life, right? So probably something what they eat or something that they wear or something like that. This is, and unfortunately, they start sort of requesting to Rasulullah SAW, requesting of increase in allowance, which is very human, right? This is why they become our role model. They have desire as well. They have need they have, and then how they deal with that, how they suppress the need because they want to please Allah and His Messenger. This is what make them become our role model. This is what we can follow. If they don't have tasks, if they don't never been tasked, they don't have the desire, then it's not fair for us, right? We have our own desire, we have to fight our own desires and so on. So that's why we listen to these stories and how people with their own desires, but then they manage to deal with that the way Allah please with. May Allah please with all of them. And then Rasulullah SAW actually, because of that, Rasulullah was so uncomfortable with that request, and then he even went for a seclusion. And in narrations, he went there for almost a month, 29 days. So as he went out, there was a small room just above the house of Aisha, and he was just there for many days. And there's one narration where Umar bin Khattab went there and saw how Rasulullah slept and so on, but this is probably a different story. And then after this seclusion for 29 days, and Rasulullah came and asked Aisha that, why don't you talk to your parents and why don't you discuss? You have two choices, whether you choose the life or hardship, right, with me, and then or you can be divorced and then you have life of comfort, right? But it's okay, no one's gonna be pleased, but if you stay with me, you double reward and so on, of course. And then with the heartbeat, within the heartbeat, Aisha Radhiyallahu says, yep, I'm with you, right? Subhanallah. And then and basically after that, all the mother of believers actually followed as well. So they all prefer the life with our Nabi. This is just amazing, right? How the love of our Prophet, right? So when they were being offered, none of them, no, I want to be with you, right? Because they know the blessings of becoming the wife of Rasulullah. In this world, probably not so much because of the frugal life that they have to go to, but in Jannah, subhanallah, right? They will be the wives in Jannah as well. So, and again, they can see that, right? So, so basically they all chose to this hereafter rather than the getting a little bit more comfort in this world, subhanallah. All right, what is another event story we have? Well, we already have 45 minutes. I think the biggest moment of Aisha radhiyallahu anha's life was, of course, the passing away of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's a long stories about but I think, and Rasulullah was staying from one wife to another every night, and then when he became became very very ill, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asking all the wives, where should I be staying tonight? And they said, so what? And then everyone knew what he meant by that. Okay, you can stay with Aisha, because everyone knew that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually loved Aisha, and then and because she's the youngest as well, so she can probably look after, and then she's been like a sort of a doctor or something like that, right? So at that time, then the cousins of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Fadl bin Abbas, came with Ali, and then they took Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Aisha's house, and it was put on her chest, like Aisha says, Nahari wasadri, just between the bosom here, subhanallah. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked for water, and asked for water, and he couldn't even pray, and he asked Abu Bakr to lead the prayer. Abu Bakr actually led the prayer about 17 times. So if it was not the sign of Khalifa or her successor, what else, right? So, and then there was a time when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked, do I have any money? How much money I have? And Aisha says 79, just give it away, give it to Sadaqah. I don't want to face Allah with money, right? Just give it away. And they had to give that away. And Aisha, the night when Rasulullah sallam actually passed away, she had to actually loan something for oil, because barely she didn't have anything. So you can imagine this simple life, the life of Aisha radhiyallahu, that they don't see wealth and money as a comfort. Being closer to Allah and His Messenger is how they get comfort. May Allah bless us that by pleasing Allah is our comfort, right? Some of us is still probably going out, going to the movies and whatnot, and getting coffee or whatever to find comfort, and probably even some of our friends are still listening to music for comfort and stuff like that. May Allah allows us to feel that the comfort is actually by pleasing Allah, subhanallah. And then Fatima came to Rasulullah SAW. Rasulullah SAW was very very ill, and last time when we shared the story about Fatima, how she visited, and then you heard the story. And then at that time was Abdurrahman bin Abu Bakr came, and he was having the siwak probably in his pocket or somewhere, and Rasulullah he couldn't even talk, and he was looking at this, and Aisha, being a good wife, she understand what Rasulullah wanted, and she took the miswak, and then she softened it with saliva, and then chew it a little bit, and then use that after chew it a bit, and then she gave it to Rasulullah, so Rasulullah can brush it. It's amazing how Rasulullah want to feel clean to face Allah, right? And this is the whole reasons because of that. And Rasulullah says, sakiratul mautul bil haq, verily this sakaratul maut, the pangs of death is really real. And then Rasulullah looked at the heaven, and he said, Bal il rafiqil a'la, my beloved is the high, my beloved the high. And after that, his hands collapsed, and he passed away on the lap of Aisha radhiyallahu anha. Was subhanallah, it's very sad. I don't know how every time I tell the story of the passing away of Rasulullah, it's always emotional. Subhanallah, this is the loss of the fear. You can imagine how the ummah at the time felt. Subhanallah. So that is some of the events, some of the story, life events of Aisha radhiyallahu anha. And then we continue for the blessings of Aisha radhiyallahu anha. The blessings of Aisha, she actually mentioned it herself. She said that she's the only virgin wife, because all the other wives are 13 to 12 or 13 of the wives of Rasulullah, they all were married before. So either the second husband or the third husband and so on, right? So even like I mentioned before, even Aisha radhiyallahu anha was originally promised to get married by Zubair bin Adi, Mutim bin Adi, right? So it is quite common at that time, people pre-arrange marriage at a young age. And this is the first blessing. She said, I have 10 blessings. Compared to other wives, I have 10 blessings. This is my first blessing. That's according to the student of Aisha radhiyallahu anha. The second one, what is the blessing? I'm the only wife whose my whole family is Muslims. Not only Muslims, one of the blessed Muslim families of Islam as well, right? The father embraced Islam, the mother embraced Islam, and they both did hijrah. They have the high level of companionship of Rasulullah SAW, because they performed the hijrah. That's number 2. Number 3, my innocence came from the seventh heaven, right? She was saying, I knew that I was right, I knew that Allah will help me, but I didn't think it was gonna be verse in the Quran, verse chapter 24, where everyone, all the ummah will recite that until day, right? Today is going to be very close to Ramadan. People will recite Quran, and people will recite these verses where Rasulullah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected and the innocence of Aisha radhiyallahu anha. So the third one. The fourth one, I had ghusl in one container with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she even quoted that I could see Rasulullah could see me, to that level. I think you know what I mean, right? So says none of the wives has actually done this. That's number 4. Number 5, the blessing. I have been blessed by Allah that my marriage actually come directly from Jibril. So the message from Jibril, right? This is just amazing. And then she said, number 6, one of the blessings is that Rasulullah SAW once prayed while actually laid in front of him. Sorry, this is It's a typo. So in front of him, so he was praying, and and Aisha was actually was still sleeping, still lying on the bed or something like that. So it's actually allowed because I think because the room is so small, and in one narrations even Rasulullah have to move the hand or the limbs of Aisha just to continue praying, right? So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is it? 3, 6. Right? Number 7. Number 7. This is very interesting, right? I have to tell you the whole story for number 7. Number 7. This is what happened, right? So Rasulullah SAW every day will move from one wife to another. So every day they will go, and then he will stay. Whoever the night for that, he will stay for the whole night. But every day he will visit everyone. But then when everyone, the Islam is getting more and more cover the whole Hijaz. So when people come from different region, what they do, they ask people in Medina, where is Rasulullah today, right? Rasulullah at the house of Zainab, or Rasulullah at the house of Habibah, right? Now everyone, okay, I have something to present to Rasulullah. They don't come. They don't want to be a guest. But when they know Rasulullah is at the house of Aisha, then they come. They visit Rasulullah, right? So because of that, of course, when they come, they bring some food, they bring something, right? So it's always, so the other wives start feeling, why all the guests only came, right, when Rasulullah was at the house of Aisha, right? And the other wives was, of course, they feel a little bit jealous, it's very human, right? And you know what they did? So this is not right, okay? So what they happened is they all gang up and they went up to Fatimah radiallahu anha and said, can you please tell your father, right? We have a problem here. Why your father is always accepting guests when the house of Aisha? And they use the word, ask your father to be just, to be fair. Of course, the Prophet, no one more just than our Prophet, right? But again, this is the context. We have to be very careful. There is no way our Nabi cannot be injustice. There's no way. It's not part of the job desk, right? But then our Rasul says, don't you love who I love? And then Fatima could not say anything. They came to all the wives, and they says, I cannot do anything. All right. Okay, what's next? So okay, they asked what Zainab, one of the big rivals of the co-wives of Rasulullah SAW, says Zainab and Aisha. So actually Zainab came, and at the time Aisha was there, Aisha and Zainab actually end up fighting and arguments and so on, right? And Aisha was actually saying something that is actually put Zainab into a position, and she couldn't say anything, right? Even Rasulullah says, Innaha ibnati Abu Bakr. Look at that, because she's the daughter of Abu Bakr from her legacy, so she knows how to talk. So Zainab actually gave up, and then she left. They met again, and then okay, what's next? Okay, this is the last one, all right? Let's ask Salama. Salama is the oldest one as well as the wiser one. So okay, Salma, you have a mission. Remind Rasulullah SAW to be just, to be fair. So that means when delegates come, please come not only at the time of Aisha, also the day of the other wives as well. So Zainab, Salma finally came, right? And Rasulullah SAW got irritated, and he said, do not irritate me about Aisha. Wallahi, this is very amazing actually. Wallahi, Jibril come with wahi, right? Only if I'm in the house of Aisha. Subhanallah. So not only the people of the Hijaz at that time, they become the guests of Rasulullah by choosing the day of Aisha. Even Jibril alayhi salam will not come with the wahi except Rasulullah is in the house of Aisha. So look at this, is the blessing. Even Jibril alayhi salam pick certain days as well. Subhanallah. This is amazing. One of the blessings of Aisha was, she said that the wahi will not come unless Rasulullah is in my house. Subhanallah. Amazing lady. Another thing is, she said that Rasulullah SAW actually died on her night, right? So the day that Rasulullah passed away is actually the day which is supposed to be the night of Aisha radiallahu anha. So she said that. And number 9, Rasulullah SAW actually passed away on my chest, and with my saliva in his mouth, because the miswak that's being chewed and softened by Aisha radiallahu anha. And then the last one is Rasulullah was actually buried in the house of Aisha radiallahu anha. Look at the so many blessings of Aisha radiallahu anha, and she was our sheikha. She narrated so many hadith, and she's been the pinnacle of a woman, and from her chastities and how Allah actually put her innocence and protected her innocence and chastities in the Quran, where we will recite until the end of time. So that is the story. Oh, exactly about 60 minutes. That is a story about Aisha radiallahu anha. So that are the 3 things that we talk about today. Alhamdulillah, we cover the story of one of the greatest women on earth, the celebrity of Jannah. Inshallah, may Allah bless us that we can meet this blessed family, meet the Rasulullah SAW and all the ummahatul mu'minin, inshallah. Amin ya rabbil amin. Jazakumullah khair.
The one, the one, the one, the one.